Almost any American can tell you exactly where they were and what they were doing on September 11th of 2001. Now, 10 years later, Local 7's Julie Dolan sat down with our staff to talk about our own memories of that tragic day.
Good Lord. There are no words.
It was actually 8 o'clock in the morning, so I was still asleep when news came over that the first plane hit the World Trade Center. My wife Ann woke me up, and so I was literally wiping the sleep out of my eyes when the second plane hit the towers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
There's another one.
I didn't hear it. I mean, at the time, it was a beautiful day, plenty of sunshine. I was out working in the yard. It was in the morning.
I was in high school and I was just leaving my history class. Needless to say, I had no idea that I was about to go watch history.
I was listening to the radio, and the radio came on and said that the first tower had been hit by a plane.
And the TV came on immediately.
And I saw the smoke out of the one building.
And my first thought was that there's a problem, because at the time one of the big news stories was a bit of a rift between air traffic controllers and the government. And my first thought was that something happened there.
My first inclination was, hey, I need to call my family because I had two uncles that work in the New York City area.
About, I guess, 8 or 9 years before, there was an explosion in the basement of one of the Twin Towers. And it was like one of those terrorist attacks that, failed. I thought it was another one like that.
How could you have made that kind of mistake? I just thought it was an accident.
It just didn't seem real.
Oh my goodness, there's another one.
This seems to be on purpose.
And I heard Peter Jennings say, I cannot believe what I'm looking at. And he said, one of the towers is collapsing.
And that's when I knew it was like, whoa, this is something huge. And this is something that we're going to be talking about forever.
It's hard to fathom.
It's a shock.
And I just went numb. It's like, is this a dream?
I just felt just such a strange moment, like I was connected to the whole situation.
We watched the news and I could not turn the TV off.
There was this whole sense, of urgency of actually watching the stuff, and then you thought, what's going to happen next?
We couldn't help, even if we wanted to, we're so far away. So it was one of those things, almost a helpless, empty feeling.
All we really knew is that we wanted to pray for everybody, and everybody needed to come together.
The image that struck me the hardest was probably
the close-ups of the people, terrified.
Just to imagine what they must have been feeling.
Those are just kind of images I don't think that ever quite leave your mind.
A lot of people didn't want to see those images, but those images are very important.
You see those towers go down and you realize how many people are dying.
That was pretty emotional.
It really gives you that sense that we're Americans and we need to stand up against this.
There was, red, white, and blue everywhere shortly after 9/11 happened.
I remember all the flags. Like, I don't remember anything before then or since then where you saw that much, patriotism.
It's been a rough decade, really, for the United States, but, we've had rough decades in the past, and we'll probably have more in the future.
I think it's important just to take the time and just to think back and remember what that day was like, and just remember that we lost a lot that day.
The good thing about it is, in the past 10 years, we've stepped up a lot of efforts to keep our nation safe. I think that's a big plus.
I just think people are a lot more aware of their surroundings, especially when they travel.
Having to take off your belt, having to go through the screenings when you go in. But, that was one of our freedoms that was sort of taken away, and that's a small price that we can pay.
We're still in a little bit of a state of paranoia as a result, and people still fear that something like this is going to happen again.
Terrorism is going to find its way. I mean, where we plug a gap over here, they might find a way in somewhere else, but I think we've made great strides.
I absolutely cannot believe that 10 years have passed. I mean, this event has changed the way our country operates. It's changed the way we travel. It's changed the way we view our country.
I think it's really important every anniversary just to look back and just to remember those lives that were lost in New York that day.
If we can all just understand that you can't take anything for granted. I mean, every day that you get, if you can just savor it.
And tomorrow night, we continue our 9/11 anniversary coverage. I'll talk with the family and friends of a Tell City woman who lost her life in New York City on that fateful day.